Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Mr. Crocket, which is a new horror film coming your way on Hulu from writer-director Brandon Espy, and this focuses on a mother whose son gets kidnapped by a demented Mr. Rogers-esque kind of figure, and his name is Mr. Crocket, played by Elvis Nolasco, and he's definitely one of the big positives about this film. He has this very campy performance. His presentation is very eerie and uncomfortable. And I think Nolasco goes to great lengths to make him extra creepy, and it really works for the story. And I think Jerika Hinton, who plays the mother in this film, does a fantastic job too. She has a couple of great moments in terms of like her reactions to the situation, and I appreciated like that darkly funny aspect of the film in those little moments. This one goes for some really wild practical effects because Mr. Crocket has some really creepy animatronic type friends and stuff like that, and it's like you see what they look like on his cute little kids show, and then you see what they actually look like, and it's nightmare fuel. And I do appreciate the production design because once we get into Mr. Crockett's world and see what it really looks like on the other side of the television, it's quite frightening and it's quite disturbing, and those elements really work. I think this film has good message about parenthood and connecting with your child, and that's the thing. Mr. Crocket comes to take children to his world who he feels like are being let down by their parents, and the kids get really creepy in those moments because they have like this like the snow from like the television like in their eyes and stuff like that, and you're just like, nope. Creepy kids. Don't like creepy kids. I do feel like this film really over relies on this ridiculous premise and the functionality of it, and you have to rely on this one particular character, Rhonda, basically, dumping a whole bunch of information. Crystal and Lloyd, I think, does a really fine job in that role. There's also this like tacked on other parent character that's trying to help out Summer, our main character, and that feels very like tacked on and not really necessary, and how that character fits into the bigger story, I think on paper seems like an interesting idea. It just didn't come off very well in the film. This film is less than 90 minutes. It's lean, and it definitely has like a sense of pacing where it's just like, oh, we're at this point already because this movie's almost over, and I think that's a fine thing. This movie doesn't like dwell too long in particular places, and it moves. I do feel like there's some elements that are really overly simplified from a story standpoint and come off kind of ridiculous, but there's also some moments that feel very real and authentic emotionally, and you're just like, damn, I feel really bad for this mother and son and the situation that they're in, because it's about grief. She's a widow, and that puts such a strain on their relationship. There's also some wild kills at certain points in terms of like the sick, twisted stuff that Mr. Crocket does to some of these horrible parents. And at the end of the day, I think this is a pretty passable horror film. It does some fun things in an interesting way. It doesn't have the most unique plotting to the story, but it does have some strong performances at the center that make it worthwhile. But those are my thoughts on Mr. Crocket. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.